Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for some Euro 2021, although I think we're still supposed to call it Euro 2020, whatever. England Euro squad prediction. We are going to have a look at what Gareth Southgate may do tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm sure he's decided already, but that's when the news is going to be released. We've already had plenty of nations giving their 26-man squad, not 23-man squad this time around. We've had plenty of news today of plenty of squads being announced. England go tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to try and second guess what Mr. Southgate is indeed about to do. And it's not quite as simple as looking at the Russia squad or the Nations League squad in 2019, because there's those three extra players. And also, he was kind of definitely going to play three at the back in those squads. And does he need as many centre-backs this time? I don't know. Would he still? I don't know. Look, we're going to get into all of that. First of all, we need the rules. We always need the rules. There's a typo there. That should say this is a prediction of what Southgate will do, not who I think should be in. So let's just get this very, very clear. This video is predicting what Southgate will do. If you comment saying, I would pick so-and-so, that's great, but that's not what I'm doing here. I am predicting what the England manager will do. Feel free to put your squad of who you would put in. That's awesome, but just don't misunderstand what I'm trying to do. You can't disagree with me on that regard if you're picking who you would pick and I'm doing something different. That's an apples to oranges comparison, which is probably an analogy I use too much. And the best comment, as ever, is your own 26. I love to hear your criticism of what I do, but all I'm going to do is say, okay, what would your squad be then? And then we can have a discussion, can't we? Can't hold someone to a different standard. So, with that being said, get your own 26 in, if you can, in time before 1 p.m. Tomorrow, recording this on Monday afternoon. Let's get into it. What I'm going to do, I've split things up. Keepers, fullbacks, centre-backs. Fullbacks, wing-backs, same thing for the purposes of this. Centre-backs. Midfielders, I'm classing as Southgate's going to play a double pivot or a flat three. So anyone who's either, if it's a 4-2-3-1, plays off the front, or inverted forwards in a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3, they're going to be attackers, okay? So midfielders would be sort of central midfielders, basically, in this context with what Southgate's likely to do. Attackers would be wide players, wide forwards, inverted forwards, number 10s. And strikers would be the central striker guy, a number 9, essentially. So that's the way I'm going to go through. I've had a little look at what he did do with 23-man squads. And obviously we do get the standby list as well for World Cup 2018. So I think I roughly know what kind of weighting he wants to put on the different positions. And what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way down for the first, 2 or 3 times, and then we'll see where I actually think he's going to have extra players. And we all know, before we even do this, that England are blessed, to use the cliche, with a plethora of attackers, quote, wide players, number 10s, attacking number 8s, unless that's a number 10, and, those players who are going to play off the front in a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 3-4-3, etc. So maybe we'll have a few extras in there. Here we go. Jordan Pickford, I think Gareth Southgate will take to the Euros. He's consistently picked him through all of his squads, and he's got some trusted lieutenants. Pickford may not have had the best season, maybe trending down as a player, but I think he'll be in the squad. First fullback, we will go Luke Shaw. Needless to say, the left-hand side is a little bit more obvious than the right-hand side. I think we've got 2 obvious ones on the left and about any choice of 5 on the right. So we'll go for Shaw as our first fullback. And our first centre-back, because he's definitely fit, we'll go for John Stones in there. I'm sure he'll be in. He's a Southgate guy. He's just won the Premier League. In midfield, we'll go for Declan Rice. Was a little bit of a worry towards the end of the season after that injury that he wouldn't be back in, but he'll certainly be pole position for one of those either double pivot roles or flat 3 midfielder roles. First attacker, we'll go for Mason Mount, who could be a number 8 in a midfield 3, could be a number 10 if the system requires it, could be an inside forward, and he's done well for England, hasn't he, as well, Mount? So in he goes straight away. And, don't even need to talk about Harry Kane, Golden Boot, England captain. It's stating the bleeding obvious. I'll talk no more about the most obvious selection we can get. Right, let's go back to the keepers. Dean Henderson, I think, will be in there for sure. He's been in a lot of the squads, and I don't think there's the 50-50 toss of a coin that we're going to have to do for the next position, basically. So we'll stick Henderson in there as a second keeper. Ben Chilwell is the other obvious left back. Since it's become, I don't know, maybe wing back, maybe full back, we should mention Saka for Arsenal, who did get a couple of goes at left wing back, didn't he? So, but I just think with the chance that they could play a back 4, I think it would definitely be those two. Harry Maguire, obviously, it would have been the first centre back down, but he has been injured, and we don't know whether he is going to return. Have Manchester United got this European final to go? I just can't see him not picking him. I think even if it's a 50-50, I think he's still going to take Harry Maguire. So, but I didn't have him first just because of the injury issues. And same with Jordan Henderson, really. Henderson's probably more up in the air than Maguire, isn't he? Because I think the injury had been longer. But again, if he's anywhere near fit, he was an unused sub for Liverpool at the weekend. If he's anywhere near fit, hearing Harry Kane and the other Premier League captains speak about him, even if he's not going to play the first couple of games, I think Southgate takes him to be sure. So we'll see. Without a crystal ball or his medical analysis, who knows? Raheem Sterling is another obvious one. Wide attacker in the 3-4-3, the 4-3-3 type formation, 4-2-3-1. Southgate's used him loads, won the Premier League again. Experienced player for England and Manchester City, of course. And we've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the backup for Harry Kane as the central striker. Look, obviously, Kane is leagues above everybody pretty much in terms of England strikers, but Calvert-Lewin, penalty box striker, big, powerful, scored a good amount of goals. I know we're going to get arguments about just defining who should be picked on the amount of goals they score, but I think in terms of the most similar to a Harry Kane, penalty box, finisher, good physicality, good all-round player, I think it is Calvert-Lewin who goes in second. Here comes my third keeper, my third and final keeper, spoiler alert. I'm going to assume that Nick Pope's not going to be ready. However, I think if Nick Pope was ready, he would be the choice there. But I've put Sam Johnston in. Pope is literally having surgery. He's probably had it today, I'd imagine. And then they're saying 3 weeks after then. And I don't know, is that too risky? And is it just bad luck for Pope and Johnston comes in? I think possibly. Look, not likely to get on the pitch unless there's injuries to one or other of the goalkeepers, but you still want to be taking a fully fit complement of 3 keepers. Right, let's get into this right back mess, Pandora's box to open up. Let's go boring to begin with. I'll go for Kyle Walker first. There's 3 reasons. 1, he's a Southgate guy. 2, he can play centre-back as well as right-back. And I think that puts him over and above maybe a couple of the others we're going to talk about. That if you do want to go to a back 3, stick Kyle Walker in at the right centre-back. You don't even have to make a substitution, possibly, if he's already on the pitch and can make that move. And what was reason number 3? Again, just won the Premier League again with Manchester City. So we'll go for that, and I'll talk to you more about right-backs in a minute, because that's going to be a contentious one, isn't it? There's another centre-back. We'll go for Connor Cody. I don't think he gets near the pitch unless it's a back 3 and there's been an injury. Even if it's a back 3, I still think it would possibly Kyle Walker, like I've just mentioned, would be that option there. So I think Cody can play the middle of the three, can't he? Sometimes Maguire goes to the left. So I think he's a good guy to have around, and he's another sort of captain leader type chap, and he's been used when Southgate's been experimenting, so I think he'll be in there. Calvin Phillips went into a tackle at the end of the last game for Leeds and did hurt his shoulder, but we hear he's going to be okay. If he's okay, it's going to be in the squad, I think. Look, we won't get into who's going to start. That depends on Jordan Henderson's fitness, possibly. But could be a Rice and Phillips double pivot if it's a 4-2-3-1. Who knows what Southgate's going to do, and who knows how fit Jordan Henderson is. But Phillips in there from Leeds. Marcus Rashford, again a Southgate guy, Manchester United guy, can play wide either side. But look, I'm only picking the squad today, not the team. Useful, pacey, good finisher, set plays, etc., etc. So I think Rashford's definitely going to be in there. And here we go. Danny Ings I will go for as my third striker. Now, let's be honest. Right now, I don't think Southgate takes 4 strikers for one position, which is essentially what it is. So that means the names I've got written down here, Watkins and Bamford, I don't think either of them are going to make the squad. I know Watkins was tried and has been put in. I know Bamford's had a brilliant season. Nice to have another left footer in there as well. But I think Ings, little bit more top level experience, been in and around the squads a little bit more often. And I think for an outright finisher, maybe he just edges it. But that's what I think Southgate will do, remember. So no Watkins or Bamford for me. That's my 3 strikers and my 3 goalkeepers. So we've got 15 players up there. We've got 11 to go. Yeah, I'll probably get some stick for that. Kieran Trippier has just won the league in Spain with Atletico Madrid. I think Southgate will pick him. This is not who I would pick. I think it's a trusted lieutenant. I think he can play wing-back or full-back. I think he can go over to the left-hand side as well. We've seen him tried as the left wing-back as well. And he's a good set play guy, which may give away someone who I'm not going to pick later on. But I think Southgate will have Trippier in the squad. That may or may not be my last fullback, let's just say. Centre halves, so left-footed option in a back 4 or a back 3 would be Tyrone Mings. Again, ideally, if Maguire and Stones are fit, I think they're the 2 in a back 4. If he goes to back 3, I think Kyle Walker comes in. So again, he is the option. But there is a question mark over Maguire, isn't there? And Maguire often can do the left. Mings is a proper left footer as well, isn't he? So I think he's a useful guy to have around. He's been in plenty of squads. Right, Jude Bellingham. I've gone for Bellingham over James Ward-Prowse. And I wasn't going to do that a couple of months ago until those Champions League games and Bellingham's development this season. I just think, and maybe this is a bit different to Mason Greenwood, I think in those central midfield positions, I think get Bellingham in there now for the next 10 years. He's playing Champions League. He's like, what is he, 17? Is he even 18 yet? I can't remember what age Bellingham is or whether he's had a birthday since I was last told for the millionth time that he was only 17 or what have you. I think for future, I think he needs to go in, which would be, of course, ahead of James Ward-Prowse, who's kind of always talked about really as a useful keeper of the ball and a set play guy, maybe a penalty guy as well, God forbid. Hey, we beat Colombia on penalties, didn't we? So I think he'll go for Bellingham over Ward-Prowse. Just got a feeling. Could be wrong. Who knows? It's all the fun of the fair, isn't it? Phil Foden, well, he's been absolutely brilliant this season. Can play left, right, could play 10 if they want to do that as well. Elite level player. Might be even winning in the Champions League before the end of the season. Who knows? Get him in there, it's obvious, isn't it? And again, building for the future, Bellingham, Foden. I think Southgate's aware of this legacy in terms of future tournaments with or without Southgate at the helm. Right, I've already told you I'm only going to have 3 strikers in the squad. I just don't see why you would take 4 for one position. And there are others, Rashford particularly, maybe Sterling, less so probably, who could go and cover from those attacker type positions. So how many have we got now? 15, 19, 4 to go. Eric Dyer. Now, I think this helps get Bellingham in the squad as well. I think that Southgate will think, I'd like a player who can play centre-back and central midfield. And that would be a useful guy to have around. And imagine you're defending a lead, you're down to 10 men, and you just want someone to come on and sit in front of the back 4. That pure central midfield stopper, maybe with a bit more physicality to add to a Henderson, a Rice or a Phillips or what have you. I think Dyer's a leader. Harry Kane's spoken about that as well. So I think his usefulness will see him in that squad. Sorry, I counted that up wrong. 18, 22, 23. Sorry. How many to go? 23, 24, 25. 3 to go. Here's my next one. Jadon Sancho, I think will be in. Again, Champions League experience. Maybe a bit of a link up with Bellingham, the 2 Dortmund players both getting in. Obviously, huge links to Manchester United and Manchester City. Can play one of those wide positions, and Southgate has liked him before. So we will go for Jadon Sancho. And we will also go for Jack Grealish, who's slightly different than everybody really in there, as in he's going to stop and hold the ball up and dribble and draw a foul. And even if he's not a starter, even if Southgate wants to make it pragmatic and have players on the break, I think Grealish will see the pitch in the Euros. If something needs unlocking, or they decide to go with a number 10, not sure they'll do that, then perhaps Grealish won't work in a 4-3-3, who knows. But I think he needs to be there. Right, how many have we done now? 3, 7, 12, 16. My 6 attackers there is 22, 25. So only one position to go. I've said we don't need any more forwards. The 6 wide attackers, or attackers and 10s, I think is enough. Got 4 players for probably 1 or 2 bespoke central midfield positions with the option of Eric Dyer as well. I don't think we need 6 centre-backs. So I'm going to stick Reece James in, and I understand that is 3 right-backs. Let me just explain. Kyle Walker is a right-back who can also play centre-back. Kieran Trippier is a right-back who can also play left wing-back. Reece James, if you watch the Championship, played central midfield for Wigan. And again, look, I know there's options there as well, but I think Southgate goes for usefulness. Look, of course, he can get a decent right-back out of Wan-Bissaka, Trent, who we haven't mentioned, Trippier, James and Walker. So I think it just goes to usefulness. And for people like Wan-Bissaka and Trent, who are bespoke right-backs, I just wonder whether they miss out on others' usefulness. And he stacks the squad up like that. Reece James is just a bit more that sort of versatility, perhaps. And Trippier, the side, switching to the other side in the set plays, and Walker, the pace maybe, and the ability to play centre-back. So I think he takes a 5th fullback in terms of versatility of 3 of those 5 players. That's what I think his solution's going to be. Hey, I could be wrong. We could be sitting here and there could be plenty of other players. So the ones that you're going to mention in the comments that don't get in, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I just don't think he's going to take him. For the reasons I've said about the right back and that he hasn't been using him of late. Nick Pope, I think is the operation, and I think Johnston will get in ahead. Ward-Prowse, I think Bellingham maybe just slightly ahead. Who knows? Lingard, he's been brilliant, but I don't think he gets ahead of Mount, Sterling, Rashford, Foden, Sancho, Grealish. We are in a good spot with those players. Watkins and Bamford, I think he'll just go for Ings. Not to say that one or other of those two won't be in the squads in future. And I should mention Mason Greenwood as well, because I talked about Bellingham and building the squad and Foden. I do think Greenwood over time will join them, but maybe he's just 6 months behind, or maybe a little longer, in terms of get him in there. Now he's going to score loads of goals for England, but Harry Kane's doing that at the moment. And yeah, he could play that wide position, but again, we've looked at the 6 attackers that can play support roles, and we're just blessed, as I say, in those positions. So that is my prediction for Gareth Southgate's 26. 3 keepers: Pickford, Henderson, Johnston. 5 fullbacks, but versatility: Shaw, Chilwell, Walker, Trippier, James. 5 centre-backs. Remember, Walker can also help out there. Stones, Maguire, Cody, Mings, Dyer. Dyer also can play midfield. 4 for the sort of central midfield, either 2 positions there. You wouldn't imagine he'd play 3 of those 4. It'd be Mount if he does play a midfield 3. But Rice, Henderson, Phillips and Bellingham, obviously in the lap of the gods with Henderson's fitness, I guess. The attackers, Mount, he's probably the only one there that you would drop into an actual midfield 3. And then Sterling, Rashford, Foden, Sancho, Grealish as wide forwards or 10s or support strikers, whatever you want to call them. And then Kane, obvious. Calvert-Lewin, the closest in terms of makeup to Kane. And Ings, maybe as the finisher, the fox in the box in the squad. There, again, shout out Trent, Pope, Ward-Prowse, Lingard, Watkins, Bamford, Greenwood were all on my scrawlings as I was trying to put this together. So, look, we're trying to predict what Southgate is going to do. Please try your best not to give me a, frankly, juvenile tribal comment because you support, for example, Southampton and you're triggered that I didn't include Ward-Prowse and you love him. That's not what we're doing here. And hopefully we can get the standard of comment and debate a bit higher than that. Oh, Ward-Prowse was robbed. Lingard was robbed. We're not doing that here, hopefully. That great on other channels, but hopefully we can get the comments a bit more salient than that. That is my Euro squad prediction. Again, this is a prediction what Southgate will do. And the best comment, put your own 26 in. Put your money where your mouth is, especially before 1 p.m. And I will happily sit here and say, well done, if you get more of them right than I do. It's just a little bit of a debate and not who I would pick as the squad. You go ahead and do that. That's absolutely fine by me, but not what I am doing here. There you go. England Euro squad prediction done and dusted. 1 p.m. tomorrow is when the squad drops. So we'll all have a good look out for that. And then the channel, once we're done with the playoffs and whatnot in the Championship and the dearly departed teams of the season, all of that good stuff, we can focus in a little bit more on the Euros and make that the basis of our summer intermediate in the middle of the 2 seasons content. If you are an England fan, welcome. Please hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. This is not an England channel. It is in the main a Championship channel, but we do cover the teams that got out of the Championship and are in the Premier League. So, well worth hitting subscribe and join us for watch-alongs and reviews and previews throughout the Euros, hopefully for a long period, and England are going to be in them for a long time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Get your 26 in before 1 p.m, and it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.